One, two. Level okay. 1, 2, 3. Darcy Street, South Hobart.
1, 2, check. Yeah, 1, 2, 2. Yes. Hello.
Consistent rain.
1, 2.
Cold breeze. It's very interesting.
You got me here, Ash. 1, 2, check. 1, 2. Yes, 1, 2.
Pretty close. 1, 2, 1, 2.
1, 2, 2.
1, 2, 1, 2. One of my one thing Hobart's got is no shortage of sporting venues with great outlooks, and this is one of them. The ace there. That's good. Oh, it's good. I think it makes it for a much.
This is for the players. For those that leap into battle in the blink of an eye. For the drivers that compete for their club, no matter where they are.
We'd like to welcome again, ladies and gentlemen. Looking forward to a wonderful match this afternoon. We're about 10 to 15 minutes away before kickoff.
Who has
Of course,
tips
a lot
and
of
tricks to
this
share.
match, which is really tremendous for Tasmania.
And for those who love to play with complete freedom, this is for the game changers, the innovators. This is for the players. This is PS4.
It's a whole new game. See the PlayStation 4 Victory League live.
July weekend. We're going to see one of the clashes of this year and in fact years gone by. Olympia Warriors visiting South Hobart at Darcy Street with 2 points in the lead at the top of the Victory League. South Hobart chasing just behind. A fantastic occasion, and welcome to you wherever you might be in Tasmania, in Australia, and of course across the world as we cover this game today. Kick off at 2 p.m. I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined today by an absolute veteran, 18 years at the ABC and plenty more before that, covering sports across Australia. You name it, he's done it, and it's an absolute joy to welcome beside me Peter Newlands. Peter, welcome to Darcy Street in what should be a good day.
Well, thank you very much, Callum, for that very generous introduction. I am thrilled to be here. There's a really nice crowd on hand, and we're some minutes away from kickoff yet. You couldn't script a better setup for a soccer match, could you, really? 2 points in the lead to Olympia. South Hobart chasing with 4 rounds to come. It's a script writer's dream.
It's an absolute treat. In fact, I've got to thank Ash, who's just in front of us, of course, bringing you all the vision and the graphics again today, as he has all year and years gone by. I was able, of course, last week to watch from Rome, Peter, of all places, the second half of the Olympia Zebras clash, which has set up today's brilliant fixture. And we'll take you through the teams right now. South Hobart, as they line up, will be Kane Pearce in goals. Daniel Brown and Oscar Thomas will anchor central defence, with Hugh Ludford and Matt Lewis on either side of them in defence for South Hobart. We go into the midfield and we have Kemp, who will play an important role. Undy as well. A lot of youth, a lot of experience in there for such young players. We've also got Darcy Hall. Up top, the big bustling brute, Alex Lazinski, he'll play a really important part today. It's wet, it's cold, it's windy, and they're going to need his leadership up top to bring down balls for those fast players coming through from midfield. Either side of him will, of course, be the prolific goal scorer, Peter, who you would know, Braden Mann. And on the other side, we also have Alex Walter. We'll go through Olympia now, Peter, but South Hobart, of course, the home team, they play Darcy Street really well. There is certainly a slope. It's one of those home ground advantages that happen around the world, where there's, I think we saw in the Ashes just recently, they talk about the Lord's slope, and the players have to get used to playing that. South Hobart play it so well, and it's a bit of a fortress for them here.
Yeah, that's true, very true. I guess Olympia would be familiar with it. And you'd have to say home ground advantages is always a real thing, but in this particular ground with its idiosyncrasies, it's an advantage to South Hobart. And I think the things that I've observed in the last 4 to 5 years in Tasmanian's football soccer calendar is that South have this almost this psychological high ground in competitions. They've got through to the first round, the next phase of the FFA Cup, and you just feel that they're the chaser. Olympia have set the pace, and in these conditions, in this setting, on this ground, South are a formidable opponent.
Olympia Warriors line up on the park today for them. Sean Lewis, Gustafsson, Hickey, Isles, Mearns, Wadawu, Holmes, Hoy, Griffiths, Nichols and Van der May. They've been the measuring stick all year, played some fantastic football, and have really been the most consistent team. Often we've spoken about South Hobart as the most consistent team in years gone by, but Olympia have assumed that mantle today. A slight wobble last week against the Zebras. They couldn't quite get it done despite some dominance in the first half, and today they'll come, I think, with some renewed vigour and a real challenge. I'm sure that Glenn McNeil in the changing rooms before the game has put down a marker and said, look guys, if you want to win the title, this is where we need to win it. Today is the day. Leave nothing left on the park.
I mean, I've been around too long to call things before they should be, but Callum, but if Olympia get the 3 points today, a 5-point break with 4 rounds to go, to me that's one hand on the trophy. So the stakes are high. South have got to chase this because, of course, if they get the 3 points today, they take the league, and then it's all about them, isn't it? They've got that psychological hold, and they can control the tempo in a sense over those last 4 rounds. So, as I said at the opening, the stakes really couldn't be any higher. But if Olympia can get up, I won't call it, but it'll be one hand on the trophy.
It'll be a big job for someone to reel them back in if they can take the 3 points, and I think you'll see some big celebrations if they can. For those that are tuned in from outside of Hobart, it's a wintry, blustery day today. We've had rain overnight. The pitch is certainly wet. Not too heavy underfoot, I've been told by those that have been out in the ground. That far slope on the opposite side of the broadcast often gets a little bit soggy with some rain, but even that, I'm told, is not too bad. So conditions okay at the moment. The wind has dropped off a little bit. We might see that pick up throughout the game with severe weather warnings across Tasmania today, Peter.
I think the wind has dropped off noticeably. In fact, in the absence of the wind, we've seen a bit more rain. But you and I called a game at North Hobart Oval 6 or so months ago, Callan, and it was a fierce wind that day in that match between Sydney FC and Victory. But I think, in a sense, Callan, we've got the best conditions of the days so far. So I think the weather has given us a bit of a break here for the 2 o'clock start.
We're just looking down at the Olympia dugout, and Holmes is shaking his head a little bit. The Wiggo beside me, who is bringing you the live blog, has just astutely noticed that he's shaking his head. It looks like maybe he has just injured himself in this warm-up. That would be a huge blow to Olympia. Holmes, a real talisman, not only the captain, but a huge leader for them in the centre of defence. And we see him walking back into the change room. It looks like we're going to see a late change. Holmes may be out. Big news here at Darcy Street before the kick-off. Van der May has thrown on the captain's armband, and that might just throw some uncertainty into the group of Olympia Warriors.
I covered a lot of cricket for a lot of years, Callan, and it wasn't uncommon in that game to see cricket players injured playing soccer in their warm-ups. But to see a player of that stature possibly injured and out of the game in a warm-up is most unusual, and is, you have to say, something of a sensation in the minutes leading up to the start of this match.
So it looks like Woolley has stripped off. He will move in, I think, reliably told by Wiggo on the right, probably to right back, and we might see Van der May switch into the middle of the park. Huge news here before kick-off. Peter, you've covered sports in Tasmania for a long time. As I said, 18 years with the ABC, covering everything there is to cover, both locally and nationally. Tell us, in your time, how have you seen the rise of football over the last 18 to 20 years?
Well, I first arrived in Tasmania, Callan, in March of 1999, and I started work at that time covering sport, and did it for 16 years. And I would say that the way, if I was you having asked that question, I would say the simple answer is that the one thing I've noticed more than anything else has been the rise in certainly in prominence of soccer in terms of its recognition with the public and its media profile, and the general understanding of the context of the game in Tasmania. That has been a significant change over that period of time, more so than any other thing I could mention. And it must be a very pleasing thing for people who've put a lot of years of effort into the game, and probably without a lot of reward and recognition over a lot of that time, to see the game on the footing that it's currently in, with a view to it only really improving and going from strength to strength in the years to come.
A quick shout out, of course, to Slice of Cheese regulars would be used to listening to the dulcet tones of Andrew Coolin and Damien Gill. They've carried this coverage alongside Ash Wilkes all year, but couldn't make it to the big dance today. Gilly over watching his beloved Melbourne, I'm told, today, and some football, Real Madrid and Manchester City on Friday night. And Drewy with a little bit of a cold. So we send our love to them, and we hope they enjoy the live broadcast as the teams enter the pitch. Just a couple of tweets. Gilly tweets in from Melbourne, midfield the key for South. Kemp is a star but needs support up against the league's best engine room. So there you go. You've heard it from Gilly, who is a bit of the doyen of football fed Tas. He's the media man and, of course, watches a lot of football. So I trust his observation. So Kemp, a big one today.
And we're confirming that Holmes is out of the matches.
A minute's silence observed there. I'm not quite sure who it was for. I think Olympia Warriors all sporting black armbands, so I presume it's an Olympia Warriors sign of respect for perhaps a family member or a past player. We'll endeavour to find that out for you as the coverage continues. But right now, it's all to play for. A late change if you've just joined us. Holmes injured in the warm-up. Doesn't start for Olympia. Shaking his head when he came off. So Van der May moves inside to central defence and will captain the side. And we have Isles move in, I think, Woolley move into right back for Olympia Warriors. Peter, I know you haven't watched a lot of football this year, but I'm going to ask you for a tip.
Well, South Hobart are an irresistible force, or have been in the last 4 to 5 years. And, they're threateningly close to Olympia, and I think, given Ken Morton's track record of getting teams up for big games and the club's record as a whole, I'll go with South at home.
Yeah, I think you talk about the home ground advantage, and you hear big clubs around the world talking about crowds and moments sucking the ball into the back of the net, and sometimes it feels like that might happen at Darcy Street. I think it's going to be a close one, but I tip South 2-1 for that home advantage. But Olympia, I tell you what, if they can do it here, then they will have deserved this title.
Well, there's a really solid block of blue and white to my left here in the stand here at Darcy Street. So in terms of presence of support, I don't think Olympia will be outdone. And of course, this is an enormous day for them. As I said earlier, the 3 points today for Olympia, they have got a hand on the trophy as far as I'm concerned.
One last tweet from Gilly before we kick this one off. In round 3, when Olympia Warriors won, their width caused issues for South, and Hickey bossed it. Undoubtedly keys again. Shay Hickey, of course, we keep on saying it, we have it all year. Former South Hobart player. He's had a stunning season in the middle for Olympia Warriors, a real focal point for them. And between him and Mearns in the middle again, it'll be really important that they get on top early and not get blasted away like we saw Zebras blasted away a couple of weeks ago here at Darcy Street.
And that wind has picked up, Callan, and the rain's coming down again.
Yeah, player comfort level. There's not a lot of sweat out there at the moment, I don't think, Peter. It's freezing. As we get this game underway, Kemp plays it out wide to Lewis. Lewis tries to send them into attack, but the wind catches hold of that one, and man can't hold it, and it's out for a throw-in. Comes long from Woolley. Little flick on, but it goes all the way through to the 18-yard box and will be gathered easily by Pearce. Brown back in the side this week after being rested against Devonport last weekend. In a little bit of card trouble, and they're still trying to hang on to him. Just manage his yellow card activity ahead of this game and also their FFA Cup game in Sydney in a couple of weeks' time.
We talk about home ground advantage, Callan, but in a sense, how do you prepare for conditions as tough as this with the strong wind? There's probably no way you can really do it. So maybe the conditions are a bit of a leveller for Olympia.
You know, often when you've got a win like this, Peter, they talk about it being perhaps 1-2 goal advantage. Certainly in AFL they talk about it. I'm not so sure about that when it comes to football. Both these teams like to play it on the deck, and I wouldn't expect a lot of long balls today unless South Hobart look to go a little bit more direct to the big body of Lazinski up top for them. Hall gets on the ball now. Man will look to play through to Hunt. Hunt one-on-one with Vandermeer. Vandermeer puts a foot in, and it'll be an early free kick here for South Hobart. An opportunity for them to get a ball in the box. Vocal crowd here, as we predicted. The grandstand, given the rain, is absolutely chock-a-block.
It's great to be here.
Hunt over this one now with his left boot. The big bodies come forward. Brown and Thomas will be the focal points here. Lazinski as well. Knocked in. It's a good ball. Brown's there. It's off his shoulder. Not directed in the way of the goals, and Mearns will clear away. Straight to Wadawu. Olympia look to break now through Hoy. Hoy comes back through the middle. Woolley had just slipped in Wadawu, and the Warriors crowd not too happy because they felt that they were away there, and referee halts the play. Out to Woolley now, to the feet of Wadawu. Comes back into Mearns. Wadawu, of course, wearing some headgear. We've seen that prominent, certainly in the Premier League through Peter Cech. Wadawu, a couple of concussions throughout this season, so that's why you see him in the headgear today. Mearns controlling the ball in the middle, goes to Wadawu. They're playing a little bit narrow at the moment. Brown looks to send them forward through a long ball, but it's stopped short by Nichols. All the way back to Lewis. He goes long off the head of Wadawu, but safely into the hands of Pearce.
I think in conditions like this, Callan, often, regardless of the sport you're involved with, it comes down to a matter of concentration and concentration errors, and that could well be a factor in the outcome of this match as it goes along in this wind.
There's a lot of talk before the game of Van der May playing it right back. Would his pace be enough against the likes of Mann or Hunt? Gilly tweeting in again. He's pretty active. I don't know whether he's at the game. He may as well be here. Suggesting that actually maybe it's a blessing in disguise that perhaps Van der May in the middle of the park does better with Woolley on the right back to combat that speed of a Hall or a Hunt or a Mann. Especially that he was big against them in the round 3 win as well. Loves the physicality, does Woolley. Ludford with the ball in his hands here. South into attack. Hall on the ball. Nipped off him by Hickey. It'll be out for another South Hobart throw. Ludford now will look to go long and strong into the head of Lazinski. He flicks on. No one there to knock it home. And Lewis will clear away for Olympia. Up to Hoy. Tries to knock it down to Hickey, but well collected by Undy. Olympia not allowing South Hobart to settle on the ball here. Hall will take on Griffiths, but Griffiths wins that battle. Nichols slips and gets it away, only as far as Kemp. The youngster settles, spreads it wide to Lazinski. Back into the feet of Undy. Undy finds Mann now. He's a big occasion player and he'll be vital if he can get up and score some goals here. Tries to whip in across. Well blocked by Nichols, and we'll see our first corner of the game. Strange old day this, Peter. Wind, rain, and then beautiful sunshine.
I'm trying to get a read on the wind. It's now died off again, and the conditions aren't too bad. But initially, South were kicking into the teeth of it, but it's died off a bit in the last couple of minutes.
Hunt swings one in. It's a high, free header from Lazinski. McNeil won't be happy about that, but no real power on it. It's over the crossbar and out for a goal kick.
It's certainly got a finals type feel to it, doesn't it, Callan? You wouldn't quite call it a cup final feel, but you sense the edge and the extra adrenaline that's running around the place at this point in the game.
Don't underestimate just how important this is to the Olympia Warriors team and the club in general. As the Brown comes over the back to win a header, and the Olympia Warriors weren't happy. They thought it might have been a free kick. Mann with an ordinary disposal back inside allows Olympia back into it, and Mann kicks out at him there. And the Olympia Warriors go up. They suspected that perhaps he needed to be shown a slice of cheese. Mann having words now with Hoy. Mann escapes. And still having words now with Van der May. I'm pretty sure I'd back Van der May in that tussle if it ever came to blows. Van der May will send it long and strong. Quite high all the way to Pearce. That wasn't ever really going to trouble him.
Yeah, I just wonder in the conditions yet again if there's we'll see a lot of those long speculative balls, almost Australian rules like into the box to try and force an error from the goalkeeper in the conditions.
As we see a mishit clearance from Pearce, but Lazinski there to head to Mann, and Mann will get under control now to Lewis. No one really on top early here. South Hobart have had a couple of good forward forays as Wadawu comes into the back of Lewis. The crowd is vocal here early. A great atmosphere for this clash. No doubt that this means a lot to both clubs. And we're going to hear more and more of that as the game goes on, especially if it stays 0-0. Hunt on the ball again. He'll try to use his beautiful left boot to curl another one in. Up and high against the wind, and Lewis had come to try and punch that one clear and didn't get any of it. It came over the back. Luckily no South Hobart player there to tuck it away, and Warriors are able to clear. A little bit unconvincing there from Lewis. Perhaps he thought it was going to come a little bit longer than it did. Held up in the wind as Olympia try to come away with it, and Thomas, the youngster in the centre of defence for South Hobart, he clears away. He's had a fantastic season. Very tall, Peter, very composed on the ball, and a real find for South Hobart this year.
Olympia haven't really constructed an attack yet. I guess they're coming to terms with the pace, and the pace of the game is evident, and working out what they can do with this wind advantage at their backs.
Let's try to play through the middle now. It's a tight tussle. Gustafsson tries to get on the ball, but it's cleared away by Brown. Players losing their footing out On the ground, Hickey spreads it wide to Wadawu. 1-on-1 now with Lewis. Wadawu will have him for pace, but doesn't try to go around him. Tries to put in a ball. Deflected off Lewis and cleared away by Thomas. Now Hunt tries to find Hall up top. Overhit, and Lewis will be there to clear away. As you say, Peter, no real convincing early signs of possession. South Hobart have certainly had the better of it, but it hasn't been that dangerous. Olympia will be happy that they're perhaps 9 minutes into this fixture now, and they haven't been blown away. Good ball inside now to Hoy. Hoy turns, might have a hit, does, rattles one off. It's deflected and looked like it might fall to Wadawu. It'll be out for a corner. Certainly Olympia's best foray forward, just as we were talking about.
Nice little turn there, boy Hoy, wasn't it? Nice. He found some time on the ball and decided to have a long-range shot. It wasn't the worst option.
Turned Thomas perfectly and then tried to open up his body. And normally Holmes would be a big target for Warriors here. That's an attacking presence they'll miss with his height in the box. He's scored a lot of headers this year. Vandermeer and Nichols will be the targets now. Wadawu with good spring on him as well. Ball in, Pearce able to gather at the top of the 6 yard, uncontested, and he looks to move the ball away quickly to Hall. Hickey drops off him. Hall with all the time in the world, might look left, sends it long to Mann. Mann v Vandermeer, good touch from Mann. Does a little bit too much and nipped off him by Mearns. Undy on it now. Hunt 1-on-1 with Vandermeer. Should have him for pace. Vandermeer holds up. It's a good ball in from Hunt. Well cleared away by Nichols. And now Olympia look to break. Hoy sends them out wide left. Griffiths overlapping from left back, but it just goes beyond him and it's out for a South Hobart throw-in.
Do you like the Sunday afternoon slot for this game? Calendar seems to work beautifully with the crowd, given the weather.
I like Sunday afternoon games, Peter. I've got to say the fixturing, it's not contesting a lot of other sports, both local and national, and it makes for a nice crowd size, and I think we'll see more and more of these types of fixtures as the years go on in the State League. Kemp with the ball in the middle now for South. Tries to spread it wide left. They're a little bit narrow at the moment, not a lot of width in the game. Lewis with the big long clearance. His counterpart, Lewis for South Hobart, heads clear again, only as far as Wadawu. Finds Hoy. Hoy's getting a little bit of it in the middle for Olympia so far. Certainly more than Hickey. Hickey hasn't seen a lot of the ball. Here's Hoy again. Coming forward, plays out wide right to Wadawu. This looks promising. Into the feet of Gustafsson. Just goes clear. I think he was flagged for offside anyway, but a great foray forward for Olympia. Hoy certainly making some industrious efforts count in the middle of the park at the moment for Olympia.
Certainly Hoy's playmaking has given I think Olympia a bit more rhythm and some tempo in this game now.
Ball in dispute in the midfield. Comes to Nichols. He's got plenty of time. Undy tries to get a foot in. Again, very narrow from Wadawu. Gustafsson 1-on-1 with Thomas now. Tries to go past him, uses his pace, beats him. Tries to get in across from the right, and it's just overhit and out over the crossbar for a goal kick. They'll be happy with these signs though. Early on, Wadawu down the right, Gustafsson getting at Thomas, beating him with pace. Warriors starting to come into this game, and perhaps the only thing they'll be looking for now is to get Hickey on the ball a little bit more as well. Use his creativity to find those players in the final third, and then start to try to test Pearce in goals for South Hobart. Brown brings this one out now. Not a lot in front of him. Ludford plays to Hall. Comes back inside. They've managed to play their way through. Undy back over to the left. It was calling for the ball and puts his head up in frustration. Felt he'd made a good run there and just Ludford unable to find him. Olympia come across to Lewis. Woolley on the ball now. He seems settled coming in. Not easy to come in with just a couple of minutes notice that you're about to strip up and start playing. So he started the game well. Wadawu as well. Comes through. Mearns on the ball. Has been known to score from long range. Travels. Gets a shot off and it's out for a goal kick. Very wide. But again, Olympia, good signs and the crowd's pretty pleased with his efforts so far.
It's been an intriguing contest today, but certainly in the last 5 minutes, Olympia have really found themselves into the contest. With the stakes so high, every play has a lot riding on it.
pressure immense in this, and it's often these games where we see those unlikely characters step up and perform, Peter. It's where you write your name in the history books of these local clubs. Can you turn it on when it most matters? And today it really matters. 2 points, the difference between these two teams. 14 minutes gone in this game, and it remains 0-0 if you've just joined us. No massive chances. Olympia starting to come back into this game now. 5 minutes, or the last 5 minutes, have certainly created some opportunities. Wadawu and Hoy and Gustafsson getting on the ball. We've seen that happen again. Good little interplay now into the back post, and Wadawu had checked his run. If he had carried that on, he would have had an easy tap in at the back post. Was expecting it to be cut back, I think, there.
What does Ken Morton do here? Callan, I think there's a bit more happening up front than he'd like from Olympia. They've really got into a groove here, and I'm just wondering how Ken Morton might try and shut this little spell of Olympia's down.
We spoke about that tweet from Gilly before the game, Peter, in that Kemp in the midfield for South Hobart, young player, very, very talented, but was going to need some real help. I think what we've seen happen now is Hunt has come into the middle of the park alongside Undy and Kemp. Hunt normally plays higher up left, but what we're seeing perhaps there from Morton is some more experience in the middle of the park to try to get ownership of it, because that's where they're getting beaten at the moment. Hoy finding a lot of the ball for Olympia Warriors, and that's where their attacks are coming from. Mearns also able to get forward. Kemp on the ball now. Good. Tries to find Undy, but well chopped out by Nichols. He's been good in the centre of defence so far for Olympia. Ludford pulled up for a foul there. Isles has been relatively quiet out on the left so far for Olympia. They'll try to get him into the game, use his pace, because he'll certainly have Ludford for toe down that left wing. Nichols holds the ball nicely, composed. He's a real player, is Nichols. Finds Hickey, unable to get it under control, and comes back to Hall. Pretty scrappy football at the moment from both teams. Hunt now able to come clear. He'll try to find Mann, but it's a bit too straight. Nichols again chopping that one out. He's made some really important interceptions in the first 15 minutes of this game. Gustafsson certainly coming a little bit deeper to try to collect the ball, Peter, and we're seeing Oscar Thomas, the big lad, getting drawn into the centre of the park. I'd suggest it's not necessarily where he wants to be, and we've seen already once Gustafsson turn him, or maybe it was Hoy that turned him to get Olympia into attack, and they maybe want Kemp or even Hunt to screen a little bit more across those, in front of those back four, to try to stop those balls coming into the feet of Gustafsson and Hoy. Miss hit now, and South Hobart with a throw in. Still no real chances of note. It's been a pretty cagey affair. Perhaps the pressure waned on both teams, Peter.
Well, they were down a quarter of an hour, so I guess a lot of those early game nerves have been blown out in that phase. And I'll come back to the conditions. The breeze is up again, and I think it's going to be like this through the rest of the match. But if I was a boxing referee and a boxing judge, I'd be giving points to Olympia just at this point.
Hickey gets on the ball now, perhaps his first real opportunity, into the feet of Hoy. Hoy turns Brown now. Two challenges come in from Hunt and Brown. They're both strong. They look fair. The Olympia Warriors supporters wanted a foul. Lazinski gets on the ball now. He hasn't had a lot of it. Tries to play over the top to Hunt. Vandermeer's there to clear away nicely. Only as far as Lazinski again. Can't quite control it. Wadawu on the ball now. Lewis checked Wadawu, and it's a second real challenge that Lewis has been pulled up for. He'll need to be a little bit careful. Early slices of cheese can come back to haunt you in these games, especially if you're a left or a right wing back that perhaps needs to put a challenge in late. A bit more one of those cynical fouls where you're going to collect a yellow. Vandermeer on the ball now, comes short to Woolley. All the way back to Vandermeer. I think you're right, Peter. Olympia have looked a little more settled. They gain control in the midfield, and I think of both coaches, McNeil would be most happy, that's for sure, especially given the fact that one of his biggest players, Holmes, went out just 5 minutes before kickoff. Kemp strides forward now. Not a lot in front of him. No width for South Hobart. Finds Lazinski beautifully. Man under some pressure again. Hickey able to clear away. And then makes a sliding challenge, and Undy came through, and it's a throw in for Olympia. Man copping some criticism from the Olympia Warriors faithful. Vandermeer tries to bring in Isles, but can't. It's only as far as Ludford. He brings in, finds Kemp. Kemp will find Lewis. One-on-one with Wadawu. Can't get control of it, and Woolley, Hickey, mind you, comes forward, and Kemp is there to clear away.
Ken Morton appearing touchline. Cullen, making his presence felt at this point of the game.
I think that might just be certainly for some instruction. I think for centre of the park, they haven't nailed that yet, and I think it might also just be to settle his players a little bit, just to provide some confidence to say, come on, we've got this, it's fine, just settle, play your football. As Isles comes inside, a beautiful run. Gustafsson was onside, and Isles just overhit it. A beautiful run from there, came back inside, looked to slip Gustafsson in, but just overhit it, and the ball carried through to Pearce. Great opportunity for Warriors, and the first real flash of brilliance from Isles in this game. Thomas comes along and strong. Vandermeer looks after that one nicely. We spoke a little bit about the fact that both teams playing on the deck, Peter, but South Hobart certainly resorting a little bit more to the long ball at the moment. Perhaps against this wind, they're feeling that they need to push possession and the territorial play a little bit higher up the park. But Olympia have been comfortable dealing with it. Vandermeer and Nichols in the centre of defence for Olympia have been able to clear them away quite easily. As Brown clears away for South Hobart. And 20 minutes gone, still 0-0. Pearce largely untroubled. Lewis certainly untroubled in goals for the Warriors, apart from perhaps one of those speculative punches that he came out for and didn't quite get a lot of. All still to play for here at Darcy Street. Manns with a good header over Hunt, but Ludford is there to clear away. Isles on the ball again now. He looks to take on 1, 2, 3. Does so. Bustled off the ball by Ludford, but only as far as Mearns. Oh. And Mearns has been pulled up for a foul on Hunt there. Nothing intentional there, I don't think. Just was trying to just find the ball and just couldn't quite get hold of it and ran into Hunt. So no malice in that challenge at all.
Impressed by the atmosphere up here, Callan. I'm learning all sorts of things. Beside this body of blue and white supporters, it's this big day out for them.
Turn by Hall. Vandermeer comes to clear away. There's no doubt, Peter, I think, that in the fan stakes, Olympia Warriors are top of the table as well. Plenty of voice, always support their team in numbers, and that's one of the beautiful things about the Warriors Football Club is that they're very, very passionate fans and always a buzz at all of their games, regardless of whether they're playing a top of the table clash or whether they're playing against them, Hoy looks to try to clear away, but only as far as Brown. No width really for South Hobart at the moment, finding it really hard to spread wide, and I think that's just a symptom of the fact that the three front players, none of them really enjoy getting wide. Hall perhaps the player that you might see most width from, but Mann and Lazinski, you're not going to see them out wide much, and they're not getting that overlapping run from Ludford or Lewis at fullback for South Hobart. So trying to play through the middle, it's just not working for them at the moment.
It may be that when South's turn comes to run with the wind, it might become easier to control the ball through that part of the ground.
Perhaps you may be right, Peter. That might be a deliberate ploy just to stay a little bit more compact and not let Olympia play through them as well, because of course when you open it up, you open yourself up to the counter as well. I certainly think that Ken Morton would have said to his charges, look, let's just settle for the first 20-30 minutes and try to get on top of this game. That we don't need to go out there and win it in the first 10 minutes. As Hunt comes forward, Lazinski coming forward now as well. He looks to come out wide left. It's overhit, and Warriors crowd are pretty happy that they'll get the throw in. some real focus being...
What can you tell me about Hoy's background, Callan?
He played a lot in the States. He's a signing this year. Likes to play in midfield or just in behind the striker, or in fact in striker. Short, sharp little player. Good finisher. Scored the goal for Warriors last week. But yeah, he's looked really good today. I haven't seen a heap of him this year. As I said, the Drewster and Gilly have done a lot of the calling this year. But looks a player, and as I said, came from the States, played in the college system over there, and a good pedigree. Ball comes in for the front to Lazinski. He tries to flick on to Hunt. Man tries to rattle off a shot, and it's out for a throw-in, and the Warriors players are into him, as are the fans. And I think perhaps a bit of a deliberate ploy. Maybe the word went out before the game, Peter, that Man was the one to focus on, and maybe getting his head a little bit. There's no doubt that if he is on song, he's a real danger.
Well, the Olympia crowd are certainly playing their part and trying to unsettle Man, all within good spirit, of course.
A handball looked like from Hoy, but it was uncalled, and Wadawu comes forward now. Ball comes over long to the back. Couldn't find Isles. Ludford heads clear. He'll look to turn Ludford now and get a ball in. One step over, the little do-si-do, and it's out for a corner. Vandermeer will take this opportunity to stride forward again. 25 minutes gone now in this one. You just feel this game just needs a goal, doesn't it, Peter, to light it up?
I sense this one's going to go deep in terms of its the overall outcome. They look to be evenly matched, these sides, and there's a lot of desire out there for these teams.
Undy protesting that wasn't him holding a player, it was Hoy, but it's another Olympia free kick, and Vandermeer will stay high. Of course, kicking with the wind, so a little bit easier to whip a ball in with pace and vigour, and it'll be Isles with his left boot to do that for Olympia now. Plenty of danger in the box through Nichols and Vandermeer. He'll take his time. A goal here would really set the cat amongst the pigeons. Comes in, Pierce stayed on his line. Nichols with an opportunity to head home, but was well contested, and South Hobart are able to clear away. Under pressure from Hickey. He wins the throw-in for Warriors. A little bit frustrated there. He was trying to find the feet of Wadawu, but
it's very cold here this afternoon, Callan. I guess for people watching and listening who aren't familiar with Darcy Street, it's a lovely suburb overlooking the city of Hobart. Lots of historic cottages and houses around us. It's a perfect setting.
Often said that this ground in particular has a real English feel about it, Peter. Those old championship grounds that are amongst the houses. You see them on the coverage over in England. Players, spectators standing on the top of roofs of houses to get a free ticket.
Yeah, it's certainly not Old Trafford, but it's a lower division ground. Yeah, it's got a lot of atmosphere, and so. I certainly recommend it from a spectating point of view because the main stand is so well placed.
Oh, that will be a card for Brown. A cynical foul there from Brown. Hoy was through, and it's a yellow card. We might try to get a replay of this one. You see a great flick from Gustafsson. Hoy comes through. Brown knows he's beaten, and just a cynical foul to take down Hoy and stop him getting in on goal. It's a foul that a defender has to make. And it now puts Brown in a little bit of trouble on a yellow card, as we spoke about. He's got 60 more minutes plus added time to play with that over his head. So the foul that he had to make, a cynical one definitely, but the one that any defender worth their salt will make that challenge, and Olympia would do the same.
Once again, Hoy proving a real handful for the South defence.
Man on the ball now, v Woolley. Wadawu there. A strong challenge from Wadawu. Woolley now, and Man is in all sorts. I do feel that this is getting in his head at the moment. And
certainly the Olympia crowd is getting involved in a way that the South Hobart supporters haven't done so far, and you sense their side can ride on that for a while.
And Man with a good stop there from Vandermeer's ball finds Wadawu. He tries to come back through to Vandermeer. Nichols on the ball now. goes all the way back to Lewis. This game is really on tenterhooks at the moment. It's a very evenly poised affair. Olympia certainly with, I think, the better of the two teams' chances at the moment.
Oh,
It's a territorial advantage. It'll be interesting to see whether that's the wind playing its part, or whether in fact it's Olympia just managing to get hold of the midfield. We haven't seen a lot from Undy. We haven't seen a lot from Kemp in the midfield for South Hobart, and that's going to be something that Ken Morton's going to want to address. Brown with the clearing header again.
Do we need to factor in at some point, Kellen, that the draw is a advantage Olympia? It's a result for them.
Oh, no doubt. South Hobart, look, the worst possible scenario, and it's stating the obvious, is a loss for South Hobart. Yeah. They won't be, devastated by a draw. It still gives them an opportunity, but certainly the win will be something that they want to make it so that their fate is in their own hands then, Peter.
And I wonder how that might play out as the game wears on and the second half goes on. We're a long way from that in terms of their approach with going into this wind.
I think, as you say, perhaps 60, 70 minutes in, if it's still a draw, you'll see South Hobart will be the team certainly that will push more than Olympia, and that will open up things on the break for Olympia. They've got a fast forward three. South Hobart, not a lot of pace in their back line, and perhaps we'll see fireworks late in the game, as we often have in Darcy Street in years gone by. They break through Isles now. Kemp tries to get at him. He'll find the feet of Gustafsson. It's opening up now. Wadawu streaming forward as well. They've got players across the box. Finds Wadawu. One-on-one now with Lewis. Tried to find Hoy, and Thomas was there to clear away a vital challenge there by the South Hobart central defender, and he got there just in the nick of time. Wadawu has seen a lot of the ball this half on this high side, the broadcast side of Darcy Street. He always puts himself about in games. Certainly that has gotten him into trouble in years gone by with yellows and reds, but you'd never question his commitment or his desire to get at the ball, that's for sure. As Mann finds the ball, puts a good through ball through to Hall. Lewis looked to come but then thought better of us. He beats Nichols now, free shot. And it flashes just by the left upright. A little bit of uncertainty in the first time that we've seen South Hobart get at Olympia Warriors with any real danger. It just drags the shot here on the left as we see the replay. And about a foot wide of that left upright. Did the goalkeeper have that covered? I think Lewis had that covered. A little bit of uncertainty. Looked to come out there when he saw that Hall got through, and then thought better of it and dropped back to his goal line. Made the right decision in the end, I think. Perhaps that'll give South Hobart some confidence and a bit of a foothold in this game, because up until now, Olympia Warriors have certainly had the better of it. Mearns.
Their best shot of the game, their just chance of the game for sure, I would say.
Mearns finds the ball again, but only as far as Hall. South Hobart starting to come into it. Hunt looks to find Hall again, but crossed wires and they couldn't get it sorted out. Undy on the ball now, back to Thomas. He strides forward, tries to find Mann, and it's just over hit. And out for another Warriors throw-in. Wadawu with space. Lewis just perhaps hanging off him a little bit because he knows he's got him for pace. Some uncharacteristic errors here from some of the South Hobart players. The pressure certainly taking its toll, I think. Wadawu, with all the time in the world, tries to flick it forward to Gustafsson.
I'd agree with that. I think they haven't played with a fluency. The fluency that Olympia have so far. I'll come back to that issue of the conditions. It may be easier for them to settle into a rhythm come the second half, which is still some way off. I'd like to hear a bit more from the South supporters. I love the way Olympia are engaging in this one.
Nice to know that Andy Brennan, of course, former South Hobart player and now Newcastle Jets signing, is tuned in. He says he's loving the new red and blue nets. He just likes the small touches at Darcy Street.
I'm all about those as well.
They're a nice net.
In the afternoon sun, it just gives a nice home. It just adds that fortress type feeling that they got here at Darcy Street.
Absolutely. As Hall loses the ball, Nichols on it now. In the absence of any great opportunities, he sends it long and strong all the way to Pearce. We've also got Camille Douglas, of course, who does a lot of calling for us up on the northwest, covers all the Devonport games, and good to have him on board in the coverage. He says not a great week for captains in the warm-up. First Eves yesterday and now Holmes. Enjoying the coverage and the call. Nice to have you on board, Cammy. If you are listening anywhere in Tasmania, Australia, or around the world, do get in touch at Pasky14 or at Peter Newlands on Twitter. It'd be nice to hear any comments you've got or any questions about the game and the situations. As Griffiths throws into the feet of Hoy. He rats for the ball and finds Hoy again. He's bustled over by Hunt, and it'll be another free kick to Olympia Warriors.
Still 0-0, Callan.
You just feel that a goal for either of these teams before the half would be a real positive.
Very interesting.
And would change the game completely in the second half.
Bearing in mind, of course, this is a league match. There'll be no extra time, no penalty shootouts, so it's not a final as such or a knockout match, but it has that feeling.
Isles with the ball in. Pearce comes, punches away. Lazinski's there at the top of the 18 to clear away now too. Woolley tries to find Mearns, does so. It's well collected by Lewis and then collected by Mearns. A real tussle in the middle at the moment. Scrappy affair. Lewis finds it on the left. He finds Undy. Well collected by Woolley. Hoy now in the middle of the park. He's seen a lot of the ball. Isles in a narrow position. One-on-one with Ludford. Beats Ludford. And the ball's kicked away there by Kemp. Warriors calling for the cheese for Kemp for some obstruction after the free kick was awarded, but the referee was unwavering. Vandermeer looks to spread it wide. One-on-one now. Poor touch from Wadawu. Sends a ball in with his left boot, and it's over here now for another goal kick. Warriors just shading the stats at the moment. 4 shots off to South Hobart's 2 shots off. No shots on target at the moment. And South Hobart, you can see they've been under the pump. 9 fouls to Olympia's 4. So Warriors certainly taking the points in the boxing match. As Pearce looks to try to play out to Thomas and overhits it. It's that's something that Ken Morton, I know, will be absolutely livid about at half time. It's those small details, that those little 1%ers that he prides his team on. Comes back to Wadawu. Bit of interplay in the corner here for Warriors. And Gustafsson, the judge, to have held Lewis, and South Hobart get the free kick. Just 10 minutes to play here in this first half. Lewis not happy with the treatment he got from Gustafsson then. He's just spending a little bit of time on the pitch, holding his head, maybe got a little knock. Morton again on the pitch, on the touchline, just gesturing, talking to his players. I think there might have been, the word might have gone out then to Daniel Brown, probably the talisman of this team, the experienced player that's played in a lot of the last 6 or 7 years for South Hobart's titles. I think Morton might have just said to Daniel Brown, Daniel, come on, we need to see a bit more leadership, we need a bit more voice. And you see Daniel noticeably there, starting to talk to his charges. Lazinski tries to flick on, it's cleared away by Vandermeer. How many times have we said that this half? It's a throw in for Warriors again. Wadawu on the ball in the middle now. Beats Hunt. Comes wide to Isles. It'd be a matchup that they'd be happy with. Isles v Ludford. Tries to get a ball into the front post, but can't quite get it on target, and it's out for another goal kick. Warriors certainly finding more width in this game. Isles and Wadawu have been very prominent. And when you contrast that with South Hobart, who just haven't had any width whatsoever. They haven't been able to get Hunt out wide left. They haven't found Hall on the right. And as we've spoken about before, no overlapping from their wingers. And they've just been starved of opportunities as a result of that. And they haven't even been able to find Lazinski really up top like they have in games gone past. Long ball here from Brown. Vandermeer there to head away. Griffiths in a little bit of trouble, and he just plays out for a throw-in. as I said, Lazinski hasn't really factored in this match at all at the moment, and he's a big body. He's been well marked by Nichols and by Van der May, and Morton will be wanting more from him in the second half. Ludford with a short throw to Hall. Hall tries to get it in. It comes deflected high. Hunt makes a nice challenge, gets it to the feet of Ludford, and then Hoy makes a challenge and it's out for a throw-in.
Hoy doing some work in defence.
Hunt on the ball now. Dinky ball played into the middle. Lewis will find it now. Thomas on the ball. And Brown looks to come forward through Hunt. An overlapping run, a rare one from Ludford that Hunt tries to find. Griffiths now trying to play the ball on the deck. Ludford shimmies him, gets a ball into the back post here. Man just misjudged it and it goes over the top of him. Warriors are able to clear away through Wadawu. Great ball from Wadawu. Isles with a wooden touch and carries through to Pearce. A great ball there from Wadawu. Thomas just hands out saying, who's going to present for me? And in the end he has to go long and strong. A great ball will find Man one-on-one with Van der May. Shapes to cross, then finds Hall at the top of the box. He rattles off a shot and it's wide and high to the right, but worth an effort.
I think so.
Especially in these conditions, Peter, we've spoken about the swirling wind, the deck is slippery, the ball's going to skid on, not easy for the keepers to hold it.
So not easy for the keepers with the long ball and with the extended flight.
Worth a speculative effort. Lewis comes long to Wadawu. Flicked on by Man as we hear Morton screaming, get it down, he wants it on the deck. That sun, I think, playing a part now as well. Coming from left to right, if you're viewing, you'll see long shadows on the screen of the South Hobart players having to deal with that sun in their eyes when those long balls come through for the header. So that perhaps a factor now as well.
A lot for the goalkeepers to think about, isn't there?
Absolutely. Pearce, big shout there, saying the keeper. He'll just play it back out to Brown and look to settle. 5 minutes to play in this half. Tweet in from Jamie Richardson. Nice to have you on board, Jamie. He says, good to see you back calling. Come on, Zebras. He wants them to beat the Rangers. Of course, they play North at the moment against the Rangers. And Jamie Richardson says, City till I die. I'm not sure whether he's remarking of Melbourne City. Is he Manchester City? Is he Launceston City? I'm not sure. Or Devonport City.
Maybe all three.
Yeah.
Or four.
As Kemp tries to find Ludford. A great touch to Hall. Hall looks to get a low ball in, then an outside of his boot. Oh, Wadawu slips. Lewis gets in, nips it off him. Wadawu hassling Lewis. Lewis tried to win a cheeky little corner there. And Woolley clears away through Hickey. And now Gustafsson tries to find Hoy, but well intercepted by Kemp. Undy on the ball now. We'll find Hunt. Hunt play first in Woolley. Woolley's been really good at right back today. Mentally not easy to come into a game cold. Of course, he would have participated in the warm-up, but mentally you're not preparing yourself to play from the kick-off as a substitute. South Hobart interplay at the top of the box now. Kemp tries to find it. Hunt now. Oh, Hunt with a golden opportunity for South Hobart. But
the contact was good. The contact was very good.
Just unfortunately,
the action wasn't there.
At a good height for Lewis and straight at him, and he gratefully accepts it.
A couple of feet either side. That was net, I think.
Absolutely, the best clear-cut chance for either team, and it falls against the run of play. You'd have to say for South Hobart, and Hunt will be cursing himself. They won't get a lot of those opportunities today, and he'd be hoping. He just seemed to slip a little bit and lean back, and that's what saw the ball go airward and straight into Lewis's arms. Lazinski tries to steal off the feet of Hickey. He does so. Man asking for the ball wide left. Oh, the ball from Lazinski was horrendous, and Woolley is there to clear away. I suppose a cheeky little dink into the feet of Gustafsson. Thomas certainly has Gustafsson for height, there's no doubt about that. Man away now, it's overhit by Undy. Lewis was coming, and then Griffiths goes down.
A much better spell in the last 10 minutes for South Hobart, Callan, you'd agree, wouldn't you? The good chances, finding their way into the Olympia half much easier, and in a sense they're finishing on a high. It's half.
Absolutely. Undy on the ball now. Hickey tries to tussle with him. It comes into the feet of Mann. Good interplay now at the top of the box. Hunt with the outside of his left boot. Finds Hall. Plays into the feet. Oh, nice little dinky leave there from Undy, but Kemp was second to it but managed to find it. Hall now with the ball to the back post. Lazinski unmarked. Mann finds it. He wants the shot here. Lazinski not too happy. He wanted the ball wide left. Mann certainly a hungry striker, and if he had
a hungry striker.
If he had scored, his players wouldn't have resented it. He's done it plenty of times before, but it's when it doesn't come off. That's when your players will start to say, "Hang on, I was in a better position than you." No doubt, South Hobart just rising to the occasion in these last few minutes.
Definitely.
Almost into stoppage time. A late goal here would be a beautiful thing for either team. Mearns can't quite control it, and it's out for a throw-in to South Hobart. They might look to just settle this here and go into half-time at 0-0. Ken Morton probably would be the happier of the two coaches that it is 0-0. McNeil probably feeling that his team have been better and perhaps maybe should be one up, without creating any major, clear-cut chances. Nichols on the ball again, comes all the way back to Lewis. Mann will come to pressure. Lewis finds Wadawu. Hickey unable to head it away. Lazinski plays into the feet of Undy. South Hobart streaming forward here now. And Wadawu's going to pick up a slice of cheese here for a late challenge, and some voice from the South Hobart supporters. The one thing I would say, and we've spoken about it before the game, as we see Wadawu just check Undy, and Undy was happy to go down there, there's no doubt about that, but the foul was there. One thing we would say about South Hobart, and we've said it plenty of times over the last 6-7 years, these are the times where they tend to score. Those last, what we call Fergie time, and there's no doubt that Ken Morton likes to model himself on Alex Ferguson. They've got talent on a dead ball situation. Lazinski will certainly have a shot here, there's no doubt about that. There'll be no cross here. And Lazinski now will shape up. Oh, and he rattles the crossbar. Lewis manages to get the rebound and clear away. Great work, and that's it for the half.
Let's see that again if we
can. What
a
phenomenal effort from Lazinski, and plenty of voice from the crowd. South Hobart certainly finished that first half stronger. If we can just have a look at this free kick, here goes Lazinski to shape. It didn't quite have the power it needed, but there was no doubt that Lewis was beaten. He didn't know a lot about it. What he did know was he needed to clear this one away. He sees it dropping, two South Hobart players there to knock it home, and Lewis makes a really vital touch. I think he intended to flick that one over the bar, and it went to the side instead.
What a moment! What a play from Lazinski.
It certainly provided some spice in the end of that first half.
That was a riveting 45 minutes, Cal, and I've got to say that really sets things up beautifully for the second half. 0-0, still advantage Olympia, it's got to be said, but that last 7 to 8 minutes from South might be instructive come the remaining second half of this match.
I think the one thing that the Morton will be happy is it'll allow him to go into the sheds and talk about something positive. Yep. Allows him to go in and say, see what we can do when we can play the ball, see what we can do when we switch on. Yep. Because it just seems to be that mentally, you almost saw Olympia switch off a little bit there in that last 5 minutes. They started to maybe lose that structure that they'd had that had stood them so well for the first 40 minutes, that back four that had been so solid. There were a few gaps. There was a bit of interplay at the top of the 18 that we started to see come off for South Hobart, and in the 40 minutes prior, that hadn't been the case, had it?
Oh, I agree, and there was if it was a concentration issue or whether South just gradually settled, got over their nerves. It's a big day for them. But it's interesting when the crowd got behind them, their crowd got a bit more involved, their play started to flow a little bit more. So that's the beauty of this game. We've got two great sets of supporters, two evenly matched teams, and a title to play for, effectively.
Absolutely. If we look back at the 45, Peter, who have you liked from either team in that first 45 minutes?
Yeah, I liked Hoy. I thought Hoy had a very good 20 or so minutes in the first half. For Olympia, Hugh Ludfield, he's a calming presence, isn't he? Been such a part of this dynasty that Ken Morton's created. One of his key lieutenants. And although he hasn't been prominent in setting up play, I think his generalship and his temperament has been good to see. And gradually, as the half went on, I think South's talent and their talented strikers gradually relaxed and got into the game. So I've been thrilled with it.
Yeah, look, I guess the other thing that we spoke about is there hadn't been a lot of width for South Hobart, and perhaps in the last 5 minutes we did see that change a little bit. We saw Ludford get forward a little bit more, and in fact Hunt get on the ball a little bit as well, and that allowed them to spread that defence and get that into play at the top of the 18-yard box that they just weren't quite able to capitalise on. On the other hand, Olympia have been fantastic. The first 40 minutes, no doubt that they were just on top, just shaded South Hobart, I felt. And I, like you, really enjoyed the look of Hoy. He was finding the ball, getting into dangerous areas, and had some really nice interplay with Gustafsson up top for Olympia. I also really liked Wadawu. I've always thought he was a good player. He's just got such great physical attributes. He's always hard at the ball. He's got pace. He's got a real jump on him. And I tell you what, he can crack a ball if he gets the opportunity. And he's got some real pace, and we might see him unleashed again on that right wing for Olympia in the second half.
I hope I'm not drawing too long a bow here, Callum, but I'm wearing my USA 94 souvenir watch. The number one watch has got a flat battery, so I'm under this watch brings back so many great memories of that wonderful month in the USA all those years ago. And young Hoy, once again, being mindful of the fact I don't want to draw long bows. He's got a little bit of the George Hargis about him. He was one of the stars of that tournament. That little what do they call him? The Maradona of the Carpathians, the Romanian midfielder who set up so many plays for that team. But he has that similar sort of influence on this particular Olympia team. For those who remember Hagi and the really good Romanian teams of the 90s.
He's just such a strong, stocky figure. It's very hard to knock off the ball.
That's it.
The one thing that certainly has plagued him in this season and seasons gone by is his cards. Gets himself into card trouble, and we've seen another that late challenge there that gifted South Hobart an opportunity.
I think Haji collected a few cards along the way too.
No doubt. But again, that's something that he'll need to check in that 45 minutes. He needs to be careful not to get another yellow and affect his team's opportunities and chances of winning this game by getting a silly yellow, second yellow, and a red card. As we see the opportunity again,
that was real theatre, wasn't it?
And Lewis was awake to the situation. It was fantastic to see him make that second save. No doubt that the ball had beaten him. If that ball just nips a little bit lower from Lazinski, it deflects in off the crossbar, and South Hobart go in 1-0 up. And with it all to defend, I would suspect, in the second half. But as it stands, 0-0 if you've just joined us. And as we said at the start of this game, 2 points still separates the team, and it does virtually at half time at Darcy Street today.
What do you think Glenn McNeil, well, first of all, he would have been, I'm assuming, more than happy to see the half-time whistle go. What do you think his message will be to his team at half-time?
I think it would be talking to them again about the fact that they are creating. They are on top in the midfield. There's no doubt about that. Hoy, Mearns, and even Nichols striding out of the back for Olympia have been on top for most of that first half. I think he'll be talking to them about the fact that if they can just get the service right, that chances will come, and perhaps reminding them that they're not the team that need to win this game. Perhaps reminding them that the pressure is not on Olympia, that the pressure in fact is on South Hobart to win this game, and just to settle his charges a little bit and to say, go out, play the same way for that first 10 or 15 minutes, and we can win this game. I've got no doubt that he'd just be trying to reinforce the fact that what we've done all year has worked for us. Let's not stray away from that.
As always, the South Hobart juniors putting on a great show here at Darcy Street. Such a part of the well-oiled, the machinery of this club. and their program has really set, I think, a benchmark, hasn't it, Cullen, in player development and club development in the state. And whatever happens in this game today and in the league in the next remaining 4 matches, I think you have to say that South Hobart have set a standard that other clubs can only have tried to match, and it's been really healthy, I think, for the overall. Not only the standard of the competition, but in a sense the interest in it in the public. Who can catch this team? What club is willing to do the things necessary to become a real challenger for South Hobart? So I think their standard and their presence as a role model for clubs around the state has been one of the reasons why this Victory League has, I think, progressed quicker than people thought it would.
I absolutely agree with you, and I think what it has, we spoke about before the game, about the rise of football in the last sort of 15-20 years in terms of the consciousness of the Tasmanian public, and perhaps the Australian public as well. We saw 99,000 at the G on Friday night, dwarfing the football crowd just down the road. The football consciousness of Australia is awake, and South Hobart has certainly set the benchmark, and I'd suggest as a club, as a second-tier club, they're not just setting the benchmark in Tasmania. In fact, I would suggest that a lot of the work they do off the field as well. I talk, of course, of Ash Wilkes, who sits in front of us, who is the person that brings these broadcasts to the world.
Full marks to Ash. It's been great.
You don't see this sort of thing from clubs elsewhere in the country, and I think not only are they setting the standard on the park in the state, but they're doing that off the park across the country in the way that they try to set themselves up as a semi-professional club.
Yep.
Perhaps not with the wages on the pitch, but certainly with the volunteers that they bring in are highly skilled, whether it be media, whether it be down at the canteen, or the coverage that we're able to bring to you because of what they provide. What I would say too, in terms of who is going to match them, who is chasing them, we're seeing that today. Olympia Warriors have certainly risen to the occasion. A lot of work's been put into that club. They've got a home of football over in Warrane now, an artificial surface that gets a lot of football because rain, hail or shine, you can play on it. It allows juniors to develop at any time of the year because it's not muddy, but you can always play football. And I think the future is bright for Olympia Warriors. George Mamarcus can be attributed with a lot of that success, but there's no doubt that the overall community of the Warriors, and certainly the Greek community that embraces this club, have been fantastic. And I think if it's not this year, and I still think it potentially is going to be this year, in the box seat, but if it's not this year, then they'll win their titles. There's no doubt about that, and they are on their way very quickly to becoming a new powerhouse in this league. And of course, I think with national football on their radar as well, I think they want to be where South Hobart has been, and that's the FFA Cup. That's the national final series as well.
Yeah, that's a real carrot. Now, Cullen, you've been doing some travelling. You've had a vacation, or you've anything to report from the big wide world and the round ball game?
I haven't taken in. I didn't get to take in any football overseas. Unfortunately, I was in the UK and didn't manage to link it up this year with the Emirates Cup, which of course my team Arsenal play every year. I think that started yesterday with a nice little 6-0 win, I think, for Arsenal. So Wenger saying that. Forget about the fact that people were saying we really need a striker. There's goals in this team. I still think we need a striker, but Arsenal look to be in good touch, in good form. If they can keep everyone on the park, I think we'll have a great season this year. But I think the good thing again about the shrinking of the world in terms of the communications and the access to information. Anywhere you are in the world, you can watch football that you want to watch, and whether that's the English Premier League, whether it's La Liga, whether it's Bundesliga, or in fact, as I said, watching from Rome to watch a local league in Tasmania. The access to information about players, about clubs, and to get an inside look behind what's happening on the pitch now is so great that it immerses you as a whole fan experience now, Peter. And I think that's something different that we haven't seen in the last 10 or 15 years, and it's been helped by new media.
And you mentioned the game on Friday night, the 99,000, and the big result for Real Madrid, but the way that soccer football is now filling this if you like pre-season space in the Northern Hemisphere in our in the heart of our own footy season, our winter season, I sense that we're not going to see. We're seeing more of these pre-season tours, pre-season tournaments for the big European clubs, and that can only serve as a great vehicle for promoting the game and maintaining its presence on a 12-monthly basis in around sporting calendar in Australia.
Oh, I agree. What we're seeing, we've certainly been the beneficiaries of our our proximity to Asia. All of the clubs want to target Asia as a source of revenue, certainly the English Premier League, and no doubt, whether it's Serie A, La Liga, or the Bundesliga, are all targeting Asia as a source of revenue. I spoke to the Manchester United marketing manager just a month or so ago, and he was saying that more than half of their supporters now are based in Asia. It's a huge financial opportunity for them, and that's why we're seeing them in Australia.
I was in Thailand on holidays recently, and in Bangkok at the same time as the Liverpool team. For the 6th year in a row, they were in town, doing the PR, visiting the temples, playing their game against the Thailand All-Stars. And there were people in red Liverpool shirts in the shopping malls and on the streets, and there's a booming economy there for them to play with, and they're making damn sure they get there every year.
Absolutely, and it's fantastic for local football in Australia. Of course, we've seen ties now, Melbourne City, Manchester City, and perhaps the football consciousness of Australia is certainly awake. That's down to the success of the Socceroos, it's down to the success of the A-League, and it's down to these bigger teams that are visiting our shores now and injecting more enthusiasm and more prominence, especially in the middle of what is a packed sporting fixture list of Ashes, AFL, Rugby League, Tour de France.
Davis Cup last weekend. It's hot competition out there.
And just while we're speaking about Tasmania on the world stage, of course, Richie Port last night riding up out the Wes, a phenomenal result for Chris Froome, and Richie Port a big part of that. Of course, he leaves now. It looks like it'll be Richie Port to Team BMC for next year, but a great Tasmanian, proud Tasmanian, riding up out the Wes, chaperoning Froome to a Tour de France victory. And of course, we've got our own little Tasmanian star in Michael Holden, who this week was announced as a young Socceroos squad member. He would be training right now over in Melbourne under Paul Ocon's watch, and it'd be great to see him represent Australia and Tasmania on the world stage. So we keep our fingers crossed for Michael Holden as we look to take in the second half of this game. Peter.
Well, let's see, first of all, how things play out in terms of the conditions and the control Olympia can exert in the early stages of the half, kicking into the wind.
No change for either team, it would seem. As Ludford just allows the ball to run out. Noticeable just there, Peter, that you saw South Hobart press a little bit higher off that kick-off. I wonder whether Ken Morton said we need to press higher up the pitch. We can't allow them to play with the ball. And Hunt, Undy and Kemp in the midfield for South Hobart certainly pressing higher there. The ball comes forward, finds the feet of Lazinski. He'll find Hall. Hall will whip in a ball around the back of the defence, but it's just a bit straight, and Lewis will be there to clear away. He finds the feet of Hickey. Bit of space. Finds that man Wadawu again. Tries to find Gustafsson. Can't, but gets the second effort, and now finds Gustafsson with a beautiful ball. He's in some space. Will go past Thomas. A great cutback. And a little bit of miscommunication between Hoy and Isles. You would have thought that perhaps Isles would rattle off a shot here. Beautiful ball from Wadawu down the right.
Can I say at this junction of the broadcast, Callan, how impressed I am with the quality of the replay system and the quality of the shots altogether. It's making this, I think, a really good opportunity for people around the country and around the world to study this game. It's been great.
As Brown brings the ball out for South Hobart. He comes long and direct. It's headed clear by Woolley. Only as far as Hall, who nods it down to Lazinski. Hunt on the ball now. South Hobart with a good opportunity. Undy tries to shape a ball in. Can't. It's cleared by Nichols back to him. He rattles off a shot, and it's just over the top of the right upright. Poor clearance from Nichols allowed Undy in. Just sliced it high and wide. Wasn't too far away though, Peter.
Never going in, but yeah, it was never going in, but it wasn't too far away, if that makes any sense.
Good signs early for South Hobart.
Keeper had it covered, I think.
Yeah, look at that ball just hold up in the wind there from that goal kick. South Hobart now finding the ball through Hunt. Tries to come back inside to Mann. Well cleared by Van der May. Hoy on the ball now. Olympia streaming forward. Finds Isles. Isles tries to flick to Hoy. Hall plays away now. Hickey finds it. Really good battle from him in the middle of the park. He opens up to Isles. Isles with pace. Beats Ludford. Turns him inside. Poor touch from Gustafsson there. And Brown Brown just milks it a little bit. Was happy with that, and has a little grin towards the Olympia Warriors faithful who get at him for that little Fosbury flop there. No doubt the wind's still a factor. Hoy comes forward now. 3-on-3 at the back now. He beats Thomas. Comes forward, might slip. Gustafsson in now. A great save from Pearce. Comes out and saves at the feet of Gustafsson. Olympia Warriors striding forward. South Hobart exposed. Great little cutback from Hoy. Gustafsson tries to slip it under the body of Pearce inside the right upright, and Pearce equal to the task. A great save to keep his side in it. Wadawu at the top of the box now. Olympia finding some opportunities. It's deflected away to Hall. And Ludford will look to try to settle. South Hobart will just look to settle again. Some chances early on.
Once again, Hoy really driving the, influencing the midfield for Olympia, and you feel that his performance, the influence he can exert, will have a big say in the outcome of this match.
A little tweet in from the Drewster, who of course normally brings you these games. It's Tasmanian's own Dennis Cometti. He says Olympia will rue not going in ahead. Man and Albie starved of service till late on, but a strong second half win might change that. Well, it hasn't changed it dramatically. South Hobart had a chance early on through Undy, but Olympia again crafting opportunities, and it's that man in the middle that you just spoke about, Peter Hoy, who seems to be the figure that Olympia are looking to play through. Normally it's Hickey, but perhaps he's just playing an anchoring role, a bit more of a screening role in the middle of the park for the Olympia defence. Lewis comes along and strong, gets knocked back into the feet of Man. Man and Lazinski have certainly been isolated up top for South Hobart today. As Vandermeer tries to play in Wadawu, but he was not able to find him, and it's out for a throw-in. Olympia's way again. Man jumps for it, but just misjudges the flight. Vandermeer on the ball now. A nice little shimmy there to beat Hunt. Plays Mearns into a bit of trouble though. Hunt finds the ball, and it's out for a South Hobart throw-in. Just a lull at the moment in the ground, Peter. It's
still a strong breeze though. It's these are the pick of the conditions for the day, but that breeze will be solid through the next 45. And sun's out, the rain's gone, the pitch is in good order. It's the wind that's the element out there.
Some nice tidy work from Undy to find Hall. 1-on-2 now. Isles with a good track back for Olympia. Hall still gets a cross off, but it's of no real consequence, and it's out to the feet of Hickey. He just overhits it and can't find Isles. He's disappointed with himself in the middle of the park there is Hickey. Just a bit of a lull in the crowd at the moment, Peter. Both sets of supporters just feeling this game out. Very 52 minutes gone, still 0-0. Olympia will certainly be the happier of the two because of that.
I sense South responded to when they got some support from the crowd late in that first half.
And it's out for another corner for South Hobart. You'd sense that these are the opportunities that they perhaps need to take. They haven't created a lot. Yeah. They've got tall bodies in Thomas and Brown. And Lazinski, of course. If they can just get the distribution right, can Hunt swing one in here? Can South Hobart go one up? Ball in to Thomas at the front post, who was trying to flick on, but he was well challenged by Mearns. Brown heads back to Hunt. Hunt shimmies to the left. Well chopped out by Mearns. And now Olympia are away. Hoy will need to watch the offside here. Finds him. They've got Wadawu coming into the right. Opportunity here to strike. Takes a touch. Strikes.
I love the way Gavin Hoy just laid up there. It was he created a whole lot of space. The angle wasn't quite right though, was it? And the shot was there, but it was never going in. But once again, Hoy asking questions, providing answers.
Just able to just shut Wadawu down there. Perhaps a question, should he have taken that shot first time? Perhaps if he had his chance again, maybe he would have rattled that one off. Into the feet of Gustafsson again. Tries to float it over the top to an advancing Isles, but Pearce there to gratefully accept it in his hands. He'll use the wind to send it long and strong to the feet of Man. South Hobart forwards just a little bit disjointed at the moment, knocking a lot of support through from the midfield. Into the feet of Lazinski. His touch is poor. Nichols chops it out. You just get the feeling that Olympia have got a bit of zing about them at the moment. They're up and about. Wadawu looks for an option forward. A great ball from Wadawu. He finds Gustafsson. Shapes to cross and then comes back inside. Wadawu with time and space to find a ball here. Finds Gustafsson.
Yeah, I've got to say, Gustafsson and Hoy, they're sort of these pint-sized playmakers. Really are clearly a driving force in this Olympia team. And Gustafsson's been very busy and very impressive through the game.
Absolutely. Is Hall with a beautiful flick forward. South Hobart stride. Undy on the ball now. Ball comes into the front. Lazinski gathers. Can't quite get it, and it's well cleared by Nichols, and Olympia might come back. It's end-to-end stuff here, Peter.
Oh, it certainly is. Here's Hoy again on the ball.
Into the feet of Gustafsson, finds Wadawu, some space opening up now. Cross comes in, cleared by Lewis, not convincingly. Ludford tries to clear away now. Then to the feet of Lewis. It really is end-to-end stuff here. What an exciting game. This game's starting to open up. Tired legs perhaps a little bit, and both teams pushing for the win as Ludford shoots away, and it'll be another throw in for Olympia.
We've even got a Vuvuzela beside us.
The absolute curse of the South African World Cup. I've got to say I wasn't too disappointed to see the end of the Vuvuzela. Its short stay in world football.
World football's got bigger issues than that, haven't it? Isn't it?
Yeah,
if only that was the only problem they had to sort out.
As Brown clears away for South Hobart again. This game, plenty left in it. 30 minutes to play. Or 35 rather. Vandermeer, cool, calm, collected, plays back to Lewis. A strong, long knock from Lewis against the wind. Brown just tries to head to safety, but it falls to the feet of Wadawu.
Gustafsson.
Into Gustafsson. He'll look to try to find Isles. And it's out for a corner. Been really impressed with Wadawu's distribution as well today. He's just knocking some delightful balls through to Hoy and Gustafsson and Isles, and giving Olympia real width. Their problem at the moment is they're just not able to get those bodies in the box when that cross is on. Gustafsson had the opportunity to hit that first time cross there, but it was only Isles who was coming in at the back, who wasn't really a great target. Ball comes into Hoy at the top of the box. Unmarked. Man came back in to steal it off him, and it's cleared away by South Hobart. The interesting question is who's going to change the game here.
Yeah.
Who blinks first, Peter? Looks like South Hobart blinks.
What's Ken doing here?
We're bringing Alex Walter, a young striker coming on, plenty of talent, got lots of pace. Lazinski makes way. He hasn't made a lot of impact today. He's tried and he cops some lip from the Warriors and he fires one back. Didn't quite hear what was said.
Maybe that's a good thing.
The Warriors happy to get a rise out of Lazinski there. He's a proud player. He won't be happy to have come off, but he'd been largely ineffectual. He battled hard, but largely ineffectual today. So perhaps Morton really changing body and strength there, Peter, for speed speed and agility in Walter, and we'll just see what Walter might be able to do in the middle of the park.
Or as Ken saying, Lazinski was half an inch away from deciding this game before half time. Maybe that was his moment. Let's try something else.
It looks like what Morton has done is put Walter back into the middle of the park and maybe pushed Hunt on a little bit. Either that, or he's actually changed the system and he's overloading that midfield because he feels like he's losing it. We see Walter dropping in a little bit more, and maybe they want him to pick the ball up deep and run at defenders. South Hobart get the ball again. Walter in his first challenge of the game. Mearns ratting hard for the Warriors. Kemp with a nice shaped ball into Hall. South Hobart break now to the feet of Mann. Mann comes inside, loses his footing, but still able to gather the ball. Woolley, I should say, gets the ball, but it's back to South Hobart again. Kemp on the ball. Spreads it wide now to Lewis. Lewis strides forward, a rare foray forward. Hunt on the ball now. He's very one-sided, his Hunt. Left that left boot, important to him. Wadawu able to clear away now. South Hobart with a good period of possession here. Yep. Finds Hall at the top. It's cleared by Isles, but only as far as Walter. Nice little step over, beats one. And then Woolley comes in to clear away. Hoy now spreads it left. Hasn't his vision been great today? Finds Hickey, the other playmaker. Hickey just tried to do a little bit too much. And the crowd up and about. I've got to say, yeah, I mean the challenge was there, but I think what Brown's disappointed about is Hickey had left it behind, and it was only that challenge that saved him. Good friends off the pitch, of course, Hickey and Brown, which creates another little understory to that battle. Will this be the opportunity that Olympia need now? Can they score from a set piece? Hickey will dink one in here. Finds Vandermeer's head. Thomas being pulled down by Gustafsson, but it's inconsequential because Pearce is there to gather.
Crowd's getting more involved now.
Isles on the ball now. Nice to know the big guy, John Borlos, tuning in. He sends a tweet in, said they've wheeled out the big guns to call the big game. Not so sure about that, JB, as Gilly and Drewster have just crafted a niche for themselves in this local
John's
game.
Still operating at the Parramatta Eels.
Still at the Parramatta Eels. I'm not sure if he was acting CEO just before I left to go overseas. Not sure if he's still acting CEO or
very popular figure in Tasmania. Made a real impression in his years at the FFT.
Well, of course, the victory lead that we're seeing now was implemented under his stewardship, and now we've got Mike, the big chicken palmer, in charge now down here, who's also doing a great job. So good to have JB on board.
Absolutely.
That's
Hello to you, John.
A long speculative ball then from I think it was from Kemp, and no one was able to collect it, and it goes out for a goal kick. You'd have to say advantage Olympia at the moment.
I think so.
Given the scoreline, given where they sit on the league table, Olympia are the ones that are sitting pretty at the moment. 2 points is enough for them at the moment to win this league.
Callan, this is what they play for. This is what they train for through the summer months. You know, the long nights on the training park. This half hour. I'm not saying the title will be decided in this half hour, but it'll tell us an awful lot. And this is what competitors love with these sort of situations. It's beautifully set up.
Absolutely, as Hall just cops one right in the face, point blank range. This has got to hurt on a really cold day. The ball would be a little bit wet, just stinging straight into the cheek. Now
the sun's probably made its last appearance of the afternoon. It's very chilly for people who aren't in the Hobart and the surrounds area and surrounds. It's real midwinter stuff, but the contest is enough to keep your mind off that.
Snow down to 400 metres at the moment, Peter, and that wind is going straight over the snow and then rushing straight down over Darcy Street.
Feel it.
Ball comes through to Kemp now. Nice bit of play from Undy and him, but Hickey is equal to the task as he has been for so many years. He looks to try to find Isles with pace and vigour. He beats Brown. Isles looks to try to get across him, but it's well blocked by Ludford. Olympia with their tails up. Griffiths on the ball. Good knock in to the feet of Wadawu. He's there. Chance now. Brown clears away. He goes down under a challenge from Wadawu. Pearce just got out to make a stop, and then Brown was there, as he has been for so many years, to clear away danger as Wadawu tried to tap home the rebound that had come off Pearce. Both very strong players, both very hard at the ball, nothing untoward there. Under 30 minutes to go in this contest. And Darcy Hall makes his way back on after copping that blow to the head. Good to see him back on deck. So the structural change that we've seen with that South Hobart change has become a bit more evident. We've got Walter into the middle of the park, and they've pushed Chris Hunt out wide left to try to perhaps get a little bit more width and some service using his left boot from the left side of their attacking lineup. So it's Walter, Kemp and Undy playing in the centre for South Hobart. Kemp screening in front of that back four for South Hobart. Isles on the ball. He's a good young player. Of course, Ocon scouting him as well. Didn't quite make the cut for the young Socceroos, but a real talent for Olympia Warriors rather. We spoke about youth development as well, Peter. Great to see Jono Griffiths. He's had a great season for Olympia Warriors at left back. Great young player and came through the youth system at Olympia Warriors. A really nice young lad, and great to see him progress through to the senior system. I remember 3 or 4 years ago when we started doing the coverages like this with the live blogs with Julius Ross was of course writing for the Mercury and doing some coverage back then too. Jono Griffiths used to play for the unders, and whenever we were over at Olympia he'd come back up and he'd be there supporting the senior team, so great to see him progress forward. And he'll look to try to get a long forward throw in here for Olympia. Ball comes into the head of Hickey, he flicks on only as far as Brown. Olympia Warriors with all the numbers now. Nichols will gather. He'll send it long to Wadawu. Heads back inside intelligently to Mearns. Shapes, beats Undy, and Undy sticks out a leg, and Mearns goes over. You see it on the replay here. Undy just a little bit late, and Mearns goes over. Tough to see someone scoring from here against the wind, Peter, but stranger things have happened.
Well, Lazinski used the wind to good effect late in the first half, and I think Gavin Hoy had a similar idea there. That one floated high.
You see the replay here. He was trying to play that early strike. Obviously, referees giving players the option now. Do you want the wall or do you want to take the fast free kick? And he saw Pearce lining up the wall there, and he thought, I'll give it a shot here. As Wadawu gets forward again for Olympia. Tries to send in across. He'll beat Lewis. He'll have him for pace all day. But Thompson is there to help out, and Lewis can finally clear away for South Hobart. Hunt can't quite get control, but finds Walter. Walter now with some pace. He strides forward. You should just see the Gazelle running forward.
Pace there.
Tries to go past Woolley and gets into the back of Woolley and then kicks it away. We might see a slice of cheese here. Yep, we're going to see the cheese.
That was a blatant push in the back.
Blatant push in the back, but I think the cheese has come for the kicking the ball away after the foul had been called. I'm not sure whether Walter had heard the whistle. There was certainly a big roar from the Olympia crowd that might have stifled the whistle.
There was something in a certain lack of composure in that play, Callan. I'm sure that Ken Morton wouldn't be pleased with both the push and the reaction to it, the slightly temperamental striking of the ball.
Well, the thing that they don't need is to go 10 men down, that's
Certainly
for sure.
Not.
10 men down, a man down to 10, I should rather. Comes into the feeder Hunt. And Wadawu needs to be careful. He isn't sitting on a yellow. A little bit late there. As we've said before, he's always strong at the ball. He just needs to be careful he doesn't get too excited. It's that thirst for the ball that makes him such a great player, but also dangerous when you're on a yellow card. Need to be careful. Ball comes long now from Lewis. Man is well marked by Vandermeer. And Mearns is going to try to open it up to Vandermeer here. Pearce comes out of his box. And he just clears it away. A good sweeping there from Pearce.
Wadawu, he'll keep running, won't he? And he's a ever-present threat with the pace.
He's a a real specimen. He's as fit as they come, hard as nails, and just you wouldn't know it. On the pitch, so fierce, so hard on the ball. Off it, an absolute gentle giant, I would say. A lovely, lovely guy. In fact, works in the disability sector as a not a counsellor, but someone that looks after the disabled and helps them get through their lives. So a lovely, lovely guy. As Gustafsson looks to try to play into the feet of Isles. And it's cleared away by Undy, not taking any any chances. And now, sir,
I think we've got the right ball, boys. Anyway, some young, enthusiastic Olympia supporters trying to get the ball back in the play. They hit the back of their coach as they set the ball back in the play.
Ludford with the throw in now. It's evenly poised. 21 minutes to play in this one. Nichols with a free header. Comes to Ludford. Headed by Kemp, but only as far as Mearns. He's been solid today. Oh, but are we unaware of Hunt nipping in behind him to get the ball. Oh, a bit of miscommunication there. Griffiths there to clear away for Olympia though. Widawi just chips it over the top of Lewis, finds Mearns. Can't string anything together, and it's in dispute in midfield again. How many times have we said that today? Really tight tussles. Hoy this time called for the foul on Hunt. Kemp tries to find an early ball to man. Only as far as Nichols and then Isles. Oh, a bit of miscommunication, and Undy can't find the ball again. Hickey apologises for an uncharacteristic sloppy ball. Big crowd here. I'd love to know the crowd figure
Fabulous crowd
at this game, but you'd have to say it's. You can't see too much the other stand, but you'd have to think it's 5, 6, maybe 700.
That's an excellent turnout
On a Sunday afternoon, especially given the weather. Great to see such an important game honoured with so many people coming. And of course the people that are tuned in live watching this live coverage as well, Peter.
Well, we've got the 70-minute mark, Callan, so 20 to come.
McNeil yet to change anything. He's pretty comfortable with how it's all looking. They do have Meredith warming up on the sidelines, of course, a really solid player for the Warriors as well this year. It'll be interesting to see when they might use him and who might come off. You suggest that might be just to strengthen the middle. As Dan Brown tries to fly, Hoy on the ball again. Ludford tries to come long and strong. Intelligent heading back from Vandermeer. Not easy when the ball's swirling around like that in this sort of wind. Just to nod one back. Cool, calm, collected.
The players have put on a very good show in the conditions so far. Now fitness comes into it, doesn't it, Callan, of course, in those last 20 minutes.
Fitness, nerve, and then you've got to say belief, isn't it, Peter? These are the times.
All three.
As Mann plays into the feet of Hall, nipped off him by Nichols, a really important challenge. Who wants it?
Skill, luck.
All to play for now. Who wants it the most? And that's grit, determination. This is when the title contenders are found. And Warriors.
South have built their brand in this sort of situation.
Absolutely. And can Warriors today be that metal, show that fighting spirit and that resilience away from home in tough conditions up against a South team that is hungry for this win.
To really counteract that.
We're going to see a big long throw from Dan Brown here.
Yeah, this takes me back to the FFA Cup match last year. The long throws. I think South are having nightmares about those still.
That's a long one to the top of the box. In the feet of Man! Oh, well blocked there from the Olympia defenders. And then Hall tries to rattle a shot off. Man just couldn't find any space, but gee, wasn't that long throw dangerous?
Well, it was the game between South and the Tuggeranong United.
Wadawu making that important block, so doing it at both ends.
In that dramatic FFA Cup tie at KG5 last year, and South were tormented by long throws that night. It would have been ironic if they could have got a goal on the back of one here this afternoon.
We're going to see Hess come on now for Darcy Hall. Hess has played a lot of time off the bench this year for South Hobart. It'll be interesting to see whether he can be effective. Gee, Lewis is getting some purchase on those goal kicks against the wind. As Wadawu tries to play it forward and find Isles, only as far as Brown. Hunt on it now. To the feet of Mann. Mann's touch has just been off today. As Wadawu finds it again. Be interesting to see. I'll get your thoughts at the end of this, Peter. I think at the moment, if it stays this way, the man of the match will be an interesting one to pick. Of course, if someone manages to pop up and score a goal, perhaps that's going to take man of the match. But Mann comes in forward now. A really nice ball into the header. Hess! It was offside. He was offside anyway, Peter, so it wouldn't have counted. But again, the header straight into the hands of Lewis.
Good cross.
It was a lovely cross from Mann. Hess, I should say, had just drifted offside, and inconsequential anyway, he headed straight.
It's uncanny the amount of shots in this match that have just gone straight into the arms of the goalkeepers. That wouldn't have counted as a goal, but a foot either side, that was in the net.
Absolutely. As Thomas brings down Gustafsson, and we're going to have an opportunity for Olympia Warriors here again, set piece.
It's been a game of inches. It's a game of inches, and you sense this one could be decided by inches.
Absolutely. 2 shots on for South Hobart, 1 shot off, 1 shot on for Warriors, 5 shots off for South, 7 shots off for Warriors. So
again, Gavin Hoy standing on the ball. Callan, what's his option here?
I think you look to pop this one up to the back post, stand it up, and see whether Vandermeer can get a jump at it. Nichols starting from deep here as well. Comes in. Vandermeer was unmarked, but just couldn't find his footing. As Gustafsson will go all the way back. It's a tough ball for Hickey, but he looks after it. Griffiths will put a ball in, but it's poor into the feet of Kemp. And Kemp will open things up now. South Hobart will break. Walter running forward, not used by Mann. Mann, the hungry striker, coming forward. Goes to Hess. 1-on-1 with Griffiths out there now. He goes past him. Gets a ball into the top. Oh, well gathered by Mearns and calmly cleared away. Only as far as Ludford again. South Hobart starting to find a foothold here. 15 minutes to play. Undy with plenty of pressure here from Griffiths. Goes all the way back to Ludford. He tries to put a ball in. It's pretty ordinary and well cleared by Vandermeer. Another straight ball in from Ludford. That's not the one. Cleared away by Vandermeer, and Wadawu finds himself on the ball. Isles now coming at it. He looks like he's getting close to out of puff. I think we might see Isles make the change for Meredith, perhaps. Griffiths clears away to the feet of Hickey. He's calm in these situations. Great turn from Gustafsson into the feet of Isles. If he just turned on the afterburners, you feel like he would have beaten Thomas there, but well played by the young South Hobart defender. You have to say, first 10-15 minutes of the match, I think Isles goes past Thomas there, but Isles is drawing in big breaths at the moment, and Thomas took the opportunity. Isles didn't quite have the legs or the pace to go past him then. Hess with a nice little header trying to keep that in, but Griffiths puts his hand up and says, I'll have the throw in, thanks. Hickey with a nice little intelligent ball into Gustafsson. Brown there to head it away. It's ping pong stuff at the moment. Nichols on the ball to the feet of Vandermeer, and really, I tell you what, the experience of Hickey comes into mind in the last 10-15 minutes. You can tell that he's composed in this game. Brown goes down under a challenge of Griffiths. Looks like Griffiths might get a little... Thought he might have got a little slice of cheese, but he hasn't.
I'm just studying Ken Morton's demeanour. On the sideline, Callan.
I'm not sure Ken Morton's got much else to change the game with.
In a sense, he's just got to sit back and enjoy the spectacle like us.
Absolutely. Well, he's
hope the preparation comes through.
He's got Connor Schmidt or Chris Downs to change the game. Looks like we're going to see Wadawu come off. I tell you what,
he's been very good.
He's been fantastic and rightly gets a great round of applause. He goes between him and Hoy. They're close to man of the match for me at the moment.
Gustafsson, I think, has been pretty busy as well. Hickey's making his presence felt in this final third of the match, I think.
I think what you're seeing now from Hickey is that composure. He's been in these big games before with South Hobart. He knows what's required, and perhaps that's what the calming influence that is needed for Olympia from Glenn McNeil. Perhaps just saying to Shay Hickey, we need you here in the middle just to calm things down. No panic needed. As man gets forward, finds the feet of Hess. Cuts back to the top, only as far as Lewis. And he calmly gets it away to Griffiths. Only as far as Ludford. Isles is there now. And Ludford just left a little bit in then from South Hobart, and Olympia will just be able to settle. 12 minutes left here. Hess now had just tried to chop it back in. It was a great block by Vandermeer, and then Lewis came to clear away for Olympia. So we've seen Meredith go to right wing. A great intelligent little first touch from him. A nice little header into the feet of Mearns. Pearce looking to move this ball quickly now. Daniel Brown given the ball early. It's South that need to push now. They need this win. We've seen a lot of long balls coming in from South Hobart at the moment.
They really can't afford to lose, can they? That's the trick for them.
That's the balancing act, isn't it? But I heard a lot from Phil Liggett, Tour de France, over the last week or so, talking about the fact, especially Nairo Quintana last night, to win it, you've got to be prepared to lose it. And perhaps that's the bravery that South Hobart need to show now.
That's the beauty of it, yeah. As I referred to earlier in the match, from Olympia's point of view, a draw is a decent outcome for them. In a sense, they've still got the lead on the ladder with the 4 games to come. The draw notwithstanding, but of course, in order to claim this title, they could put a hand on that trophy this afternoon with something a little bit special in the next 10 minutes. 5
points would make it extremely difficult for South Hobart to catch them. As Vandermeer tries to head clear again, Hess has made a difference when he's come on. Walter tried to use the ball and take it with him, but just got caught under his legs. And Griffiths was there to clear away again. This isn't going to carry through to Pearce. Well done by Thomas. And now Meredith comes forward. Great stop from Thomas. Really important foot there from the youngster. Finds Hunt now. South Hobart still don't have a lot of players forward. And that ball from... You're starting to hear some interaction between the two sets of supporters. And then South Hobart coming forward now. And now Lewis plays into the feet of Hunt. Hunt one-on-one now. Dangerous times for Olympia. One-on-one with Woolley. They need to be careful. Comes to the top of the box and well cleared by Isles. Well, we're inside 10 minutes to play in this one, Peter.
Yeah, some interesting exchanges between the sets of spectators. Let's hope they keep it all nice between now and the end of the game. Tension's just coming to the surface here in the later stages of the game.
As the elder statesman of Mark Moncur comes over to settle them down. I'll tell you what, the Warriors fans are up and about at the moment.
They are.
They know how important this one is. They will celebrate a draw as much as a win, I can guarantee you that. And Hoy comes off now, a really, really good shift. Sakiris comes on with that intriguing hairstyle of his to try to change the game and send Olympia 5 points clear. Lewis slips as he tries to send this one forward. It's well kept in by Meredith. Pearce clears away. Looks like it'll be out for a throw-in. No, it won't. Man jumps straight at Vandermeer. Courage from Vandermeer to jump in front of that. Just 8 minutes to play here in this really intriguing fixture. The biggest in years gone by. There's no doubt about that. The closest the Victory League has been in its short history.
Well, I certainly was. My timing's been great, and given the with the opportunity I was given to join you this afternoon, Callum. One of the biggest club games in decades in Tasmanian soccer, and I've been a part of it. It's been a great pleasure to be here, regardless of what happens from here on in.
South Hobart now with an important corner. Can they make something from this? They send the tall timber forward in Thomas and Brown. They don't have Lazinski on there anymore, so the focal point you would think will be Thomas. Makes a forward run. It's up high. And it travels all the way out. Brown just couldn't get a jump at that one, just overrun it, and he's holding his hip now. Lewis will be happy to take some time on this one, I would think.
South have got to dig deep here, don't they? They've got to dig deep and find a spell. Find a very good 7 minutes.
Ken Morton looking at the watch there on the sideline. He knows how important a win is here for his team. Of course, the championship not gone if they don't win here.
Certainly not.
But still, they rely on other results, and that's not where Ken Morton wants his team to be. As now they come forward through Lewis. Hess gets on the ball. He's found plenty of it in the 15 minutes he's been on. The ball just overhit now, and Lewis will let that run away and just look to milk a bit more time again. An icy wind is really taking hold down in Darcy Street now. For those that aren't here, it is freezing here. The hands are frozen to the microphone at the moment.
This is the beauty of the league system, isn't it, Callan? The notion of deciding your championship team on a home and away basis. Games like this are unique, really, in a competition where there are no playoffs. It's first past the post system. To me, this is a great example of how effective this format can be.
I really like a league system. They talk about the fact that the A-League is not a league system because it doesn't have a promotion and relegation. I still think it can work without promotion and relegation.
I agree with you.
And I'd love to see that change in the future of the A-League. I'd love it to change to a league system. We've got the FFA Cup now, which of course provides some atmosphere and the beauty of a final, which a lot of people say Australians need. But I'd love to see the A-League be a first past the post.
As long as there's incentives for the teams chasing maybe second, third, fourth place, as I say, this is a perfect example of the league system working beautifully.
South Hobart now with just 5 minutes to make a difference. Mann's going to try a speculative shot from distance. Falls to Undy. Undy will try to find Kemp. Does so. And South Hobart unable to craft anything. Tweet in now from the Drewster, who's sitting at home unwell. An outstanding display from Hoy, one of his best this season. Just lacks someone to finish off his work. Completely agree, Drewster. He has to be up there for the slice of cheese man of the match.
How much out of time might we be dealing with here, do you think, this afternoon, Callum?
I think we maybe look at 2-3 minutes max.
Maximum, not much. There wasn't much in the first half.
A couple of substitutions, a few slight injuries, a few little stoppages.
Factor in.
Absolutely not. So South Hobart need to make something happen now. Griffiths clears away for Olympia. I think they've certainly tucked back in now. They're playing Sakiris just as the one man up and crowding that midfield. Gustafson's dropping even deeper just to make sure that they don't find holes in the midfield for South Hobart to exploit. Sakiris came in under Brown then, and a pretty dangerous challenge. There's no doubt that that's a foul. I don't know what the Warriors are talking about. He's just shaped him under the ball. Brown had the jump at it, and Sakiris just gave him a little shoulder. There's no doubt in my mind there that that's a free kick. Dangerous challenge. Not a yellow card, and rightly able to try to use his body, but that's a free kick. Pearce will play long forward now, into the box, puts it in the mix. It falls to Hess. Hess is there, Brown is there, it's a goal! Daniel Brown scores! 87 minutes in! Daniel Brown with a strike that puts the side ahead! And South Hobart, as it stands, will go to the top of the league! You wouldn't read about it better than you.
Oh, what drama! What drama! It was
Daniel Brown earns the free kick, goes forward, gets in the mix, Hess did a brilliant job of seeing it knocked down here as we watch the replay. Brown in the mix for the challenge. Hess gets the knockdown, shields the ball beautifully, and then it was a lovely volley from Brown into the bottom left-hand corner. What a finish from the veteran defender. Didn't he love
Shots on
it?
goal have been going straight to the goalkeepers from either side all afternoon. That one was just out of reach of Lewis, and it's advantage South Hobart.
John Morlos often said it about South Hobart. They always find a way to win late. And I tell you what, Daniel Brown has just pulled something out of the bag there for South Hobart.
It's special.
Easy to say. I think Olympia has certainly had the better of the opportunities and perhaps have been the better team today, but no reward for endeavour. You've got to put the ball in the back of the net, and South Hobart again have done it. Is there more to play for here? Olympia now really need a goal. It should be noted, Peter, that goal difference is of no consequence here. Olympia are so far ahead on goal difference, it doesn't matter if they lose 2-0. They need now to push for an equaliser.
They're going to chase it. They chase it in a big way.
They stride forward through Isles now. Just minutes to play in this. Sakiris on the ball. Is there yet more opportunity? And the strike from Sakiris held by Pearce. And I tell you what, it'll take his time here. And it'll go long and strong. This is just amazing.
Phenomenal.
League football at its best. What a game. A tweet in from Nick Morton, who says, yeah, boys, go south. Of course, he's in Melbourne playing for South Melbourne, the son of Ken Morton. As Brown strides forward, he'll just look to try to milk the game here. Undy, if they score here, they'll seal it, that's for sure. Well held by Vandermeer. He's been good all day. Isles now on the ball. Someone has to stand up for Olympia now. The ball on Hickey. Hickey tries to send the long one forward. Ludford will try to eke this one out. Just clears this one out, and I'll tell you what, Pearce will milk this one for all it's worth. In fact, you might see Pearce even pick up a yellow card for time wasting here. Just might make the call here. We go, reckon a little yellow card.
Yeah, we're about to hit 90 minutes.
Look at this here from Pearce. The art of wasting time. Plenty of...
I'll be interested if this scoreline stands. I'll be watching the reaction from both teams at the full-time whistle very, very closely.
South Hobart will see this as their league to lose now. Comes high and long to Ludford. Hess comes forward. He's been good since he came on. Has made a difference. You've got to say that Hess battling nicely now. He won't mind if he makes a challenge on Hickey now. And that's under a yellow card for time wasting. South Hobart now will look to settle down, come back. We're into the first minute of added time, as we said, probably maybe 3 minutes in this. It'll be interesting to see how long Copper plays. Will he leave a bit more in this game? Will he give it 4 or 5 minutes? We wait with bated breath. No board to signal how many minutes of stoppage time. Fascinating fixture, and you'd have to say, as it stands, Dan Brown takes home man of the match, doesn't he, Peter?
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. There's time to play yet.
Ludford clears away now, only as far as Vandermeer.
Olympia looks shaken.
It's a free kick here now. Wowee. 92 minutes in, and it looks like Lewis might even come up. No? I don't think that's 10 yards. Copper's happy with it. Mearns looking to knock one in here. Surely not. Is there more drama? Comes all the way out to Hickey, who will try a strike into the body of Sakiris, who chested it down nicely, cleared away by Brown, importantly. Now Hunt. Solid work from Hickey there to get in before Hunt. And Lewis sends it long and strong. It's hit and hope stuff now. Bodies forward for Olympia.
Olympia looks shaken to me.
Well, it's a throw in now. I don't know why Mann's rushing. He doesn't need to rush now. And that's what Hunt's just said to him. Put the ball down. Forget about taking this throw in a hurry. 2.5 minutes gone now, stoppage time. There can only be minutes left. Is there another twist in this game? South Hobart milking these throw-ins for all they're worth now. They look to hold it down in this corner. Olympia need to get a ball and send it long. Meredith in nicely to steal the ball from Hunt. He sends it long. No one there really to contest. Gustafsson versus Kemp. Sorry, I should say Walter. Olympia have stopped a little bit now. They look shell-shocked. Lewis now running for the ball. 3 minutes of stoppage time gone now. Lewis, they want him to go long and strong. He doesn't. They can't afford to waste time. Needs to send it long. Does so. Brown there to head away again. Undy will send it long. No, he doesn't. Gets it to Nichols. Nichols now needs to find someone. Can only find Hess, and you would think that that's the ball game. There can't be much long left. Hess with some solid work, and he's been good since he came on. Instrumental in that goal. And rugby tackling Mearns now. Mearns wants to play it quickly, does so to Griffiths. Griffiths puts it forward, can only find Ludford. We've almost done 4 minutes of extra time now. There can be just seconds left. Comes long. Sakiris tries to flick on. Hunt's on the ball now. Lewis will send it long. There's no doubt about that. Mann finds the ball. Could this be the sealer? Vandermeer sent it out for a corner, and surely that is done. That is game, set, and match. And South Hobart go 1 point clear at the top of the league, Peter.
Yeah, as I say, well, if this score stands, I'll watch the body language of these teams with great interest.
Of course,
coaching staff as well.
Of course, it's not done and dusted. There's still only 1 point now.
That's exactly right.
We're going to see a substitution here from Morton, just trying to use up a little bit more time. Undy comes off. Downs will come on for what will be a cameo of mere seconds.
Yep.
How quickly the tables turn, Peter. South Hobart was struggling. They couldn't find anything. Olympia now look dismayed. Hands on hips all over the park. They will feel like this is a monumental loss. Short one into the corner now. Hess on the ball. And Hunt will try to... And that is the game. South Hobart win 1-0. An opportunistic goal from the wily Daniel Brown. And they are celebrating as though they've won the title. A huge, huge win for them. Morton with a wry smile on his face. McNeil nods his head and says congratulations. Olympia players on their haunches, Peter.
Yeah, that's 4 rounds to play, one point ahead for South Hobart. That's by no means anything approaching the end of the league, but it's a decisive moment. It's I mentioned it's at the start of the broadcast, Callan. It's just that psychological high ground that South Hobart seem to hold over every other team in the state. Now, only a certain calibre of team in any sort of competition can attain that, and it just comes through. I think year after year and after year of relentless excellence and performance, proven performance. And you have to feel South Burnett, that goal came out of that well of experience and success that South Hobart have built over the 4, 5, 6, 7 years that they've been so prominent. So that's where I think it came from. Can Olympia put this behind them, shake the demons, press on and win every game they can, and hope that South muck it up somewhere? I guess they'll do that. But to me, that was a champion team, just doing that little bit extra in a game where there was a matter of inches in it.
He spoke about inches and yards, and Brown found a yard and found a finish and rifled it into the bottom left. And look at the replay here. Look how much it means to the South Hobart stalwart. Just absolutely ecstatic with that goal, as you'll see the South Hobart boys clapping the crowds. Interesting to note, Olympia Warriors president Georgia Marcus was arm in arm just before with coach Glenn McNeil. You can see how much this is hurting the Warriors here. They gave everything, and as the Drewsters just tweeted into me that taking their chances has perhaps been Warriors' issue. It hasn't been the dominance of play this year. It's been their issue, and today they had a couple that perhaps would have seen them take it easy in this game.
A couple of things I'd like to ask you about, Callan. Firstly, Gavin Hoy went off with about 10 minutes to go. I'm wondering why that was the case, and do you think from that moment on Olympia weren't quite the same team?
We spoke about the fact that Hoy and Wadawi were big figures in this game. Both came off with about 10 minutes to play. Look, we'll never know what might have been if they had stayed on. Perhaps it was a case of Hoy just running out of legs. I don't think Wadawi was running out of legs at all.
Surprised to see both players lead the field.
Both attacking weapons, and perhaps McNeil felt that South hadn't created a lot, and that perhaps what he wanted was a little bit more stability in the midfield and in defence. And perhaps he thought Meredith and Sekiris might just provide that, give them an opportunity just to hold the ball a little bit more. We'll never know whether that was the difference. South Hobart now, as they've done so many times before, go 1 point clear at the top of the league, and when everyone thought it was done, when everyone thought they were out of it, things have conspired to give them a way back in, and they, with all due respect, they've pushed the door down, haven't they?
Certainly, if I was in my previous life as interviewing these coaches and officials, I'd be certainly asking Glenn McNeil about his thinking behind the Hoy and Wadawi substitutions. Of course, as it turns out, it was a bit of a dirty afternoon for Olympia with losing Holmes in the warm-up. Very unusual to see that.
How much did that impact them? It didn't look to have impacted them a lot, but of course, Holmes is a threat, not just in defence, the solidarity that he brings to the team, but also at those set pieces. They had a lot of set pieces, couldn't quite get on the end of one, and perhaps if Holmes was in the mix, maybe he would have been the difference at one of those. We'll never know. I've
got to say, Callan, in this wonderful, historic, evocative venue here, the Pat Grandstand, as I said, this was an endorsement not only of the league format, but I think also of the Victory League itself. The conditions were not friendly, and I think that the teams put on a really quality game. Could have gone either way. You wouldn't say it was the right result. Maybe honours even might have been a bit better. But the champion team, the title holders, found a way, and it was an absolute pleasure to be here to be part of the broadcast.
It's not a fair game. It's cruel at times, isn't it, Peter?
Unfair, a lot of time.
We might just take one more look at the goal that proved the difference. Ash, if he brings it up on screen, it was a long ball from Pearce, came in. Brown was in the mix to contest it. It bounced off. Hess, you'll see brilliantly here, just shields the ball, gives Brown an opportunity. It bobbles, and Brown with a phenomenal strike, opportunistic, rifles it into the bottom left-hand corner. A great shot, took his chance well, and it was perhaps the only real clear-cut chance that South Hobart were given outside of perhaps one strike early or late in the second half from Lazinski.
In 4 weeks, we'll know if that was, I guess, the moment of the season. But no, wonderful advertisement for the game, and excellent presentation for the South Hobart Club, the home team. And thanks to Ash and all the technical crew here at Darcy Street. They've done a first-rate job. I'm more than happy to be part of this.
Peter, thank you so much for joining us today. I've loved having you on board, providing those insightful comments, and great to hear you on the airwaves and, in fact, the screen.
Good to be back
today. So, fantastic work. We'll leave you now. Thanks for joining us wherever you watch this game, across Tasmania, across Australia, across the world. You saw a fixture of two halves of a real battle between two top sides, and it was South Hobart, as it has been in years gone past, that ended with the 3 points. They go 1 point clear at the top of the Victory League table with 4 games to go. Will they be the title holders? Tune in over the next 4 weeks on sliceofcheese.net to see whether they can take it home. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.